Boom. Perfect. Man,
So my people was good, bro.
we back for another one. We took a break during Black History Month.
As we should.
We were resting, okay? As our ancestors wanted us to do. We were resting during Black History
Mhm.
Month.
Right.
You know?
Advancing ourselves like the NAACP try. Oh, I'm sorry, the NAACP trying to have us do out here. Advancing for
Speaking
color people's sake.
speaking of the NAACP, I'm gonna give a
Uh-huh.
RIP to Jesse Jackson, man.
Yes. First and foremost, yes.
We
RP
talk
one we
about
love.
we talk about the culture a lot and stuff like that. And if we had the podcast in the '70s, Jesse is
Right,
definitely a topic. The '80s, so
for
forth. So
sure. For sure. Now, I mean, obviously, living in Chicago, having lived in Chicago, being black men, being black people, just really recognizing the impact, the influence that he really had on everything is kind of crazy. And I actually, that was around the time I know I was telling you, like I went to DC for the work trip and all of that. We'll talk about it throughout the conversation, but that his passing was around the time that I went to DC for my work trip. So like actually having gone to the museum and everything and just that whole process of the history, yeah, bro, like it really hit. Then it was kind of bussing in Chicago this past weekend with everybody in town for the funerals. I knew a handful of people who actually went to the funerals, and like it looked like the church club up in that motherfucker. I kind of like that. I don't know if you saw it or not, but the Obama Museum is opening Juneteenth
I
weekend
saw
this
that.
year too.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
seen him making a court and all that or whatever.
Chicago have a black ass here
Yeah,
for
man.
sure.
It's hard for Chicago not to have a black ass year every
Right,
year.
right,
To
right,
be
right, right.
honest, it started off good though. Derrick Rose,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it started off good. you
Yeah,
know,
no, man. You probably saw it, but the Iman Shumpert clip was like circulating when I think it was Shannon Sharp he was talking to. It was like D Rose and Mike Jordan when it comes to
yeah,
Chicago. He was saying D Rose. I felt that. I remember
no,
like I moved here around when it was I think the year right after he became the youngest MVP. So all of like the Adidas sponsorship and everything was just going kind of crazy for him at that time. And like it was real. I remember seeing people walk around town in the D Roses. Like that was a
no.
moment.
Ironically enough, I was in Chicago for like film camp or something the week,
Ty.
like it was in the summer. I want to say it was the week that they like announced that they got the number one pick. So I can remember seeing a headline.
Mm,
It was either the week they got the pick or like draft
mm,
week. And so either like he was like
mm.
next week he getting drafted or something like I just remember it was around that because Beasley, it was like a headline. I remember being in
Right,
Chicago and I
right.
read a headline, Derrick Rose or Michael Beasley, and I was like, obviously he's gonna pick a D Rose, man.
Yeah, it's Rose, of course.
D
Yeah,
Rose. So shout out to
that was
Pooh,
tough.
man. Shout out to
Right,
Pooh Demon, man. Hood legend across America. You know what I
right,
mean?
right, right,
Hood
right. And I
MVP.
also really love, fellow Libra guy as well. But I like how he actually gets a good rep of like being a solid dude and like a leader and actually like a nice guy. I'm like, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Not only do you have all these accolades in your career, but like your reputation is actually being like a good person. Like,
Yeah.
what better way to go out?
Yeah. Literally. So tell me about DC, man. For people that obviously we have been taking a little break off, but it's that busy season right now in
Yeah.
the industry. You know what I mean? It's a lot going on. Just the way you end the year, the way you start the year is usually in full
Hmm.
tilt a little bit. So what was
Right,
going on
right,
in
right.
DC?
So I went out there for an activation for work. It was pretty cool. Ended up kind of like being there for maybe 36 hours or so. And I mean, for me personally, one, obviously DC Chocolate City, shout out, bam, 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 bam. But I hadn't been there since I was a shorty. So actually going back into the city, and I got family out there and everything, some friends or whatnot that went to school in Chicago, went to school, hell, even some friends from school in St. Louis back before I transferred up here. New York homies as well or whatnot. And just though I didn't get to see everybody while I was there, it was just one of those times where I'm like, damn, like I miss DC for real, for real. I got a lot of love and respect for the culture. But the highlight for me would have really been going to the Black Smithsonian, as some of us like to call it. But the MMH, oh, NMAAHC, the National Museum of African American History and Culture. It's the proper name of the Black Smithsonian. And bruh, that was easily one of the greatest museums I've ever been to.
I can't
Obviously,
wait
I'm
to go.
biased. Obviously, I'm biased, but it really hit on a particular level for me because, being black, being there around Black History Month, like I said, around Jesse Jackson's, passing, as well as just kind of the political climate and everything going on right now. And then even with Trump talking about maybe shutting down that museum and the Smithsonian and everything else, it was good to be able to catch it before any random drastic measures actually do hit. But I it kind of it's got the two levels. Like I've been told that you kind of start the museum at the bottom, so I did that. But the bottom is the history section, and it kind of goes through like the timeline, like a little bit pre-colonialism, kind of like a little bit pre-slavery. So they give a little bit of a preface before they actually go into like, all right, the transatlantic slave trade happening, all the things that happen from that takes you through that Civil War, American Revolution, like just naming the prominent black people throughout all these different like aspects of American history or not, Jim Crow, Reconstruction, Civil Rights Movement, so on and so forth, all the way through like the crack epidemic, black suburbia, rising of the black middle class. Like, does a really great job of getting into a rather nuanced way of talking about black history. And I really appreciated it as well because it did a good job, even with it being the National Museum of African American History and Culture. It did a great job of wrapping in the stories of the broader Black diaspora to me. The best they could do with it still being the African American. So, like, they talk about the Caribbean, they mention, South America, they mention Africa, and how our African American Black history over here is still aligned and, working in conjunction with the broader Black diaspora. I thought that was really cool. And then I heard people kind of talk about how they've cried when they went to that museum. And though I didn't necessarily, I was kind of looking to shed a tear. I was hoping for it, but I think maybe I know I'm a little bit more of a Black history nerd than others. So it was really interesting to see, like, they got a real, like, slave shack up in there, bro. And, like, segregated train cars and things like that you could really walk through and experience and smell the wood of, like, a moment like that. It was kind of crazy actually putting yourself in some of them environments, but I can see how that stuff really can hit people and really make you shed a tear. I definitely got choked up at moments or whatnot. And then just the beauty of it all was just awesome. Like, as an architectural design, phenomenal. And then the top floor is more like the culture. So it's got like a cool kind of contemporary art gallery up there with a lot of like prominent black musicians right now. Got a culture section with like art, film, fashion, TV, music, etc., etc. Like Chuck Berry's like red convertible is up in there. Prince's Purple Rain outfit, the actual spaceship from George Clinton, them, the mothership connection is
Oh,
up in
that's
there.
fire.
So it's like, yeah,
That's
so it's
fire.
a hella tight stuff up in there, real artifacts. I actually got more of a dump. I'm trying to get better on the TikTok stuff, but the edit on that gonna take a little minute, but it's fire. I'm gonna have to drop it at some point, but highly recommend. I probably spent 3.5 hours there because I did it after work. It's really more if you really want to take it all in. It's an all day type of museum, maybe a good 5 6 hour walk around the whole thing, but well worth it. Well worth it. Highly
Okay.
recommend, bro.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fire. Now I've never been to DC, oddly enough. I've been around
Oh,
the
word. Oh,
I've
yeah. Highly recommend that too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been to like obviously New York, Philly, you know what I'm saying? Done
hmm
that kind of
hmm
the area before, but I just haven't been to DC. But it's been something I've been holding off on so I can really go to DC. I want to go to Manifest.
Oh,
What's
yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shout out
uh-huh.
to them.
Brian.
I like what
That's my
the page
yeah.
looking like out there. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian and Autumn. That shit is fire. I've been
hmm
seeing that from afar because I've been doing the stuff at the passport, been showing it to
Right,
Alexia,
right,
like,
right, right.
it's something to get into. But yeah, man, that sounds super fire. And what you're saying is aligned with what I've heard so far from other people who have been to the museum.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I've been. obviously not of the same scale, but the at the History Museum here in St. Louis, the Mill Creek
Okay.
exhibit.
Okay.
Uh, very touching, very
Okay.
touching,
Okay.
very as an urbanite,
Mm-hmm.
seeing the possibilities of what could have been for the city with just that real estate
Mm,
of buildings. Not to say that they wouldn't have knocked it down, not to say it wouldn't have been something else, but
right.
for it to
Right.
just be the highway, not really worth it, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Just like not really worth it. But that's a whole
Mm.
different conversation around redlining and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We could talk
Yeah.
about that for hours.
That's a deep dive right there.
That's a deep dive for your ass right there. Okay, so DC,
Mm-hmm.
uh, something that made me think about. You just talked about DC. I know we haven't talked All-Star Weekend. That happened in
Yeah.
February.
Hell, even the trades.
The
Shoot, Trey Young
Trey,
in
yeah, Trey
DC now.
Young. Right. That's what kind of popped into my brain, like Trey Young.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but just to kind of touch on basketball in general, the other day,
hmm
I don't know if you saw the Michael Jordan GOAT clip.
I did. I caught it last night actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I will shoot NBC some bail. I did enjoy All Star Weekend, even though it was during the Winter Olympics, so it was like I couldn't watch it on TV. That was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
overall,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the production.
Mm.
Um, even the little
Random.
game.
Random with you. Because that's interesting. You say you enjoyed it, knowing that a few months ago on the show we had the conversation about the structure of the All Star Weekend. Granted, it wasn't very much so like what you were saying, but I'm interested in like hearing what you have to say about it. Everybody talked about the dunk contest, which I think was underwhelming, but we got to figure that out. I don't want them to actually eliminate the dunk contest. Like that's a marquee event around. They just need to do a better job of making the superstars get involved. But whole conversation for another day. But are there certain things that you actually would like to see maybe still changed or what? NBC did it the best. I think ESPN was kind of cool, but that was the early weekend stuff, so it was like whatever anyway.
Yeah,
They
they
also
always do
get
the Friday stuff.
backlash from
Yeah.
people. Yeah, they've been getting a lot of backlash lately too about how their network is talking about the game and interacting with the NBA as a brand, as opposed to like people are liking NBC and what they doing with the NBA. I would agree. I would agree. I like it too. But yeah, what say
I,
you?
well, to the All Star, my biggest
Mm-hmm.
takeaway is what I'm always saying is I kind of, not kind of, I really agree with Kevin Durant. The world is not close to the United States when it comes to basketball. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's stop it. Okay. Because
Mm-hmm.
you have to literally bring the world together to play basketball against us. You know what I'm saying? So like
Mm-hmm.
let's just
Mm-hmm.
I just think that we should stop that. Even if we lose a gold medal, whatever you want to say, like this is the basketball mecca of the world.
Right.
We
Right.
play basketball so good we don't have to run plays. We go up and down. You
Right.
know,
Right. 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 And let
which is a
everybody cook.
whole nother racial kind of conversation that we can get into that we're not gonna get into in terms of style and play and
Right.
versus
Right. Right. Right.
the running quarterback.
Or
But
even
we can,
calling certain people lazy and don't want to work.
what I mean? It's the same conversation we have in football with the running quarterback, not a real quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's a different conversation. But I do not think that they should keep this USA versus the world. They should keep it East versus West. That's one
Okay.
tradition that they should keep. I did like
Okay.
them picking teams, but the personalities aren't as so that they can do that anymore. With like the two statesmen that we had in LeBron James and Steph Curry, it's just not the
Mm-hmm.
same as they're
Mm-hmm.
getting older.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that the younger guys want their opportunity to do East versus West, and it just takes one or two guys to kind of step up to bring the competition. So
Mm.
shout out to Wimby for doing that. So I'm
Right.
perfectly
Right.
fine with
Right.
that.
Right.
I do
Nah,
think
my boy
though,
came out cooking.
no, he came out cooking. He brought the energy. He brought the level up.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kawhi too. Shout out to
Yeah.
Kawhi.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
The allegations are coming down on Kawhi. Shout out to Pablo, but
Mm,
that's
mm,
that's another thing. But I will say I guess All Star Saturday.
okay.
Um, I think that they should obviously make the 3-point contest the last competition. I think that
Okay.
that is obvious. I think that that is a move that they could do that would not sway anybody, especially with the stars that are in the 3-point competition.
That's
Um,
fair.
However, what I think should happen with the dunk contest is I have two solutions.
Okay.
You either now we mandate it to rookies and we get to vote the rookies in. So you got voted into the dunk contest. So like
Okay.
Zion rookie
Okay.
year, you got voted in.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Or maybe even rookie sophomores. But the players, I think the
Mm,
NBA players should select the rookies and the sophomores that they want in the dunk contest because it puts another level of pressure on the players to prove themselves.
yeah,
You
amongst
know what
your
I'm
peers,
saying?
especially. Yeah,
Amongst your
yeah.
peers. And then you would just kind of, I know it'd be some guys be like, well, I lost connection there for a second.
All good. But yeah, yeah,
Okay.
you said some
So
guys would
some,
probably be like, well,
yeah, maybe like we shouldn't force the guys to do it,
mm,
but I think over time it would just become a new tradition.
yeah, it's the tradition. It's like you kind of, it's a part of getting damn near jumped into like your future superstar. You getting a national, if not global, like opportunity to make a name for yourself.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so just kind of based off of that, I think that that would just solve it right there. And so
nah, for
everybody
sure.
just would, and it would just kind of be ingratiated into the rookie sophomore game.
Right, right,
I
right,
did
right,
like the rookie
right.
sophomore game though with the little four and they broke them
I
up.
didn't, I didn't catch that, but I saw people talking about it online. They said that they liked that.
It was fire because you got to see more of the rookies. They got to all play. They all kind of
Okay,
got their own little
okay.
spotlight, and they younger, so their energy is just kind of different. And so
Yeah,
that's why
yeah,
I feel like
yeah. Same
they
with
would
the dunk contest. They probably go crazy on some
they
young
kill
niggas.
it. You have 6 competitors, 3 rookies, 3 sophomores, because it gives
Right, right.
somebody a chance to repeat, and then
I
that
like that. I
way
like
you
that. I
get
like that.
or defend to where it's like nah, because we just would have put Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, all the people who did it already, they just would have did it. It's only like
Right,
3 or 4
right.
people who didn't do it. Like they make a really big deal out of LeBron, but
Hmm.
he did enough. Like
That's
he
fair.
did his own thing.
One,
But
one, one good time would have been hard. I'd be looking at
but
that high school dunk contest.
this is what I will say. It's like, yes, you want to see the individual dunk, but they often overplay the dunk like contests of the year. So it's only been like a couple years to where it's like,
Mm.
oh, this full contest was really good. Usually it's just
Hmm.
1 or 2 good dunkers that do some
Yep,
dunks
yep, yep, yep,
and
yep,
it's a
yep, yep,
trash
yep.
other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think they kind of over glorify it, but it's a shooting league. The best stars now are shooters. That's just
Mm.
we didn't make that up. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right,
And
right, right.
so I just think that that would be the best way. Put the 3-point contest last. Rookie sophomores in the dunk contest. Players vote them in. Let's go back to East West. And I still say they should put the cash prize up for the rookies or the sophomores because then that would, for a lot of them, that could incentivize them as well too, and it would
Hmm.
give people who just only really like the hoopers know, you
Right,
know.
right, 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 right. Exactly, exactly. No,
So
I
yeah,
like that. I like that. When you were talking about it being overhyped or whatnot, I actually kind of in my head as you were saying that, I literally think about Blake Griffin hopping over the whip and then getting all the endorsement deals. I feel like the virality of it all really did kind of change how we looked at it and perceived it. Because yes, and I mean, you get them iconic moments where Vince Carter or like Jason Richardson is just like they came out with a plan, like they
you know
was
what I
out here
mean.
really getting
But
busy.
but they are all time dunkers. When you're an
Exactly,
all time
exactly,
dunker, you could probably be in a
exactly.
dunk contest at like 17, 18.
Right,
You know what I
exactly,
mean? So
exactly.
it doesn't matter if they do it like when they older per se, to me, in my opinion, because it's like
Mhm.
you're a cold dunker like that, or you just kind of not. Like
Right, right, right,
it
right,
ain't
right,
really
right,
no.
right.
And so by All Star time, we probably would have seen a couple people poke. You know what I'm saying? Get poked on. Da, da,
Mhm,
da. Okay, yeah, we won't
mhm.
vote. Yeah, let's see what you do in the dunk contest. Even if they sucked, it would still just be like Anthony Edwards rookie year. He was in dunk contest.
Right.
Like Jerry Stackhouse and them. Like they just did it. It was not that deep.
I think it's also just a better idea of the product and how to make it better than what they actually are giving us right now. At least it like you thinking of something that's a little new and refreshing. I don't really feel like Adam Silver them are working that hard on trying to like
Well,
stir shit up.
I want to pose this to you, especially as an advertiser, and
Hmm.
this would be kind of in contrast to we can talk about Unrivaled, the WNBA
Okay,
situation a little bit,
okay, okay.
but just from a strategic standpoint, the NBA now has a large number of Gen Z players, right? Gen Z socials a lot suffers a lot from social anxiety.
Hmm.
So when you mix in a generation of people who have all the same social trigger points, and you have your most legendary player being a player that suffers from anxiety built up, brought upon by like social media. Like LeBron James is like the first big athlete to where social media changed the way he acted. It became more normal for people after him, but like all of his trigger points as a person, why he made certain career decisions,
Hmm.
was based off narratives we were making on Twitter.
Right,
You
right, 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 right,
know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying?
Like
Like, period. Like,
that, yeah, no, and it's very interesting because there
well,
were
hold on real quick.
always oh, go
Like, I
for it,
want
go
to say,
for it.
it just plays into the way that the league is perceived and it plays out in a way that you
Mm,
have this group of like outspoken Gen Z women who are professional
hmm.
athletes who feel a responsibility in a different way that like maybe you could say baby boomer black athletes felt. Like Kareem and them
Okay.
felt a responsibility as men
Right,
to
right,
speak
right,
up
right.
and do certain things. Now that opportunity is kind of on the women, and it just reflects the way that the both leagues are perceived. Like they perceive the NBA players to be a certain type of way, ungrateful,
Hmm.
XYZ, and on the court they have to go out and show that. When it's time to
Right,
do that, they
right.
usually do. But that's kind of why it's hard to do a solve for them because they're Gen Z. They're super
Mm,
weird. Like, period. Like they just are like socially weird in a way to like they don't connect with like Gen X and like millennials,
hmm.
in that same way. And so I think that is starting to show like in the product that people don't like. It's really because you have all these older guys watching this Gen Z hoops. Like Gen Z hoops is not the same as
Yeah, yeah,
oversized
yeah.
shorts hoops. It's not the same as 80s Converse rubber sole hoops. It's not. And
Yeah,
but
no, I mean,
that
you
mirror
can even
society.
see a distinction in the discourse of like young versus older people and what they talk about online. That's part of how they talk about basketball online, especially like NBA Twitter, whatever, whatever. Or like the highlight reels, like what young people are doing with like the TikTok clips and the highlight reels, which I think is awesome. But yeah, they are a little weird. They do things a little quirky. We live in the era now where many of the pillars of what was perceived masculinity or performed masculinity either no longer matter or damn near might be a little old school and kind of tacky. Like cats is, doing TikTok dances and painting their nails and shit, but going out there and yamming on niggas and getting buckets for real, for real. And they also just like are silly and just like, outside of even the sports context, like, yeah, young people just engage with each other in a different sort of way. And I think that does actually come through. They also just live very publicly. Like I think we get a lot more personality from public figures just by nature of everybody being on social media, whether that be a very crafted and curated image or whether that be a very interesting and authentic image. Everybody who's putting something on social media is projecting something out into the world, whether they want to concede to that or not. So no, that's interesting that you mentioned that. I think that the wise decision for the league would be to actually start to lean away from tradition, especially after the Mike conversation about the GOAT shit, and really just start leaning into growth with young audiences and seeing what that really looks like. I think they do decent at it already. I just think that they hold on to so much of the nostalgia. But as I was saying, the NBC experience of the NBA is awesome. I love the vintage clips. I love the old like fucking newscaster clips of the player highlights from 20, 30 years ago in the old NBC Prime. And I think young people really fuck with that shit too. They dress a certain way. They play with these clips. They look at this stuff online. Like nostalgia is still a big thing. You can still pay homage to the past while figuring out how to move forward. And even with the casting of the commentators, like I love seeing Carmelo and Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady up there
Yeah.
talking that shit, and the other celebs that they bring in or whatever. I think they're doing a really good job of figuring out how to get younger people more involved with it. It just looks fresher.
That's real. I think the nostalgia
Hmm.
is it's not overplayed to me, but I think that there's a way to pull inspiration from that and kind of make something new.
Exactly.
And even though and that's a good point for everybody kind of trying to shit on uh the old TNT guys inside the NBA guys, and
Hmm.
everybody's doing their format.
Hmm.
That's like they haven't updated their format at all. Like maybe
Right,
like you
right,
said on
right.
Prime, they'll like step away from the desk. They won't sit at a desk. They'll sit on some couches. You know what I mean? But like
Hmm.
the format for the coverage is all still somewhat similar. And I
Mm.
think that that would be something that like the feel. And I know they need more time, you know what I'm saying? But like a Monday night game feels different than a game you watch on Fox. And
Right, right,
somehow a
right.
game that you watch on Fox feels different than a game you watch on CBS. And that's why the NFL is the best. But something that you were saying is I think the NBA needs to take a WWE type attitude. No pun intended for like attitude era, but like for real, because I think that when LeBron retires is when they should start to drastically change the
You
league
talking
so that
about like
you
really crafting like new storylines, like really getting into that. That would
or
actually
but
be
I'm saying like
interesting.
60 games, 62 game season. You know what I
Okay, I know
mean?
people have been talking about shortening it a little bit too.
Have more international games like they want to
20
do.
games though, that's a ooh, it definitely make them more important.
I mean, I think it's like, for instance, the two extra games that you have for people when they
The play in.
not the play in like conference games. So
Oh,
maybe
got
you
you.
would just play everybody twice, basically. Just play everybody twice, and then they should just go top 16 teams. You
Mm,
know, change it all up, and because it's new, it's not. This is not the same. Basketball not the same when Michael Jordan played. Basketball not the
mm-hmm,
same when Allen Iverson was playing.
mm-hmm,
Even going back to that, it's just not the same. So why should we keep the product the same in that way? The players, the running, the way that the game is going. If we have a need for more games, we'll just know. But when there's
mm-hmm,
a need for less games, to me, that just says something. And when you have players now that like as medicine continues to advance, you know, seeing the example that Jason Tatum just put out there.
yeah. Less than a year off the.
I'm not saying I watched clips of Tyrese Halliburton. If the Indiana Pacers were good, Tyrese Halliburton would be playing.
Mm,
I watched clips of him working out with Drew. I feel
mm,
like if the Portland Trailblazers could win the championship, Damian Lillard would play. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that it's injuries are always going to happen in sports, but I think the NBA is just due for a really big drastic change in the way
mm.
that like how the NFL, I mean NFL changed kickoffs, NFL changed hitting
Right, right,
rules,
right,
the
right,
NFL like
right, right, right.
those
They
are like
do.
super drastic things to the game. It completely
Mm.
changed the way that people perceived and changed the game, but it's still the number one sport at the end of the day.
They
You know,
smash.
it's
I
still the
was talking
number
to
one
my
sport.
girl the other day, the basketball games though. She was like, "Baby, I don't know the drama around basketball don't like I miss." She damn near missed the NFL too. She was like, "This shit ain't hitting the same way as the NFL
Well,
game."
and but it's because that's what I'm saying. Gen Z basketball players
Mm-hmm.
are are unique. They that's why they're so and they have stark contrast in the way that they approach the game. And you can see it in the way that look at any big high school basketball player's social media.
Mm-hmm.
All the clips are just basketball.
Yeah.
They don't have personality. Well, it's really clear to see when one has personality, like an Anthony Edwards and a Wimby
Yeah.
stand out in a way that people complain like Shea doesn't really have personality. Like
Yeah.
some of them might be cool, you know what I mean? But like Charles Oakley has a personality.
He definitely
You know
did.
what I'm saying? Like a actual personality. A lot of these dudes are just hoopers.
Yeah, no, for sure. For
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? Not
Low
to say
key,
they're
I do.
bad people. People get that
No,
conflict.
I mean, because I work
Um,
with some of these like high school, like big YouTube channel like, media platforms where they do the basketball tournaments and all of that. And I don't necessarily dislike what they got going on over there, but I just see so much of the mechanics of how they're molding and building brands
it's
around these young
trash.
people. Like it's
It's
between the media
trash, bro.
training and the fact that like you going to school some to get the education, but you hooping all the time. Then they talk about the AAU circuit. It's just it's so much money behind it, and it feels like a conveyor belt and like a developmental process that they not really letting the kids be full blown kids for real no more these
And it's
days.
not even that it's I'm against kids having careers,
Hmm.
but it's more so like basketball is a game for
Right,
99% of the people that play it.
right,
There's a
right.
1% that is going to go on and make money off of it in terms of the large spectrum of the game. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's just kind of one of those things that's like capitalism just has grabbed it. And when it's in the youth sports, it's just going to continue on and on and on. To your point, it's just going to dilute. It
Yeah,
can do nothing else but dilute, kind of. So, moving on from basketball and
yeah.
that, because that could be a whole thing. Um, Talk to me about let's go into music a little bit.
I was about to say, you speaking of dilution, I didn't finish reading it, but I'm sure you're aware of the chatter about Jimmy Iovine talking about Spotify and kind of like the death of streaming and everything.
Yeah. I
What,
okay.
did you finish reading it? What are your thoughts?
I
The way
I
you did that, it's like, okay.
okay. This kind of goes back to when I'm always me and you like when me and you talk about in the DM sometime music and why I
Hmm.
talk about I'm not really afraid for big Hollywood to fall,
Okay.
right? When I talk about it that way,
Hmm.
because real music, real art is made with people's hands,
Mm.
right? And with streaming and even the music industry before, like you said, it was more so put into these businesses, big business hands, which was okay when a team of people were making it with their hands and they passed it on, right? But when we cut the boutique labels out, when we cut all the middlemen out who were doing it with their hands, and now these labels, and now we're seeing like with the Paramount buying Netflix and all this other
Hmm.
stuff, we're seeing the death of these big studios,
Hmm.
right? This all started from music, like you talk about. Why he's saying that it's the death of streaming now is because when the labels introduced bots into it, when they started to use bots so that they
Hmm.
could make people, the consumer, think that it looks a certain kind of
Shit
way
ridiculous,
in a
yeah.
real similar way that Facebook did it, right? What's a view? Right. And
Hmm.
so I'm an advertiser and I pay $20 for this
The
view.
automatic plays, juice they shit. Oh,
You
I
feel what I'm
remember when
saying?
it.
You see what I'm saying? It's literally the exact same thing
Ooh-wee.
to where it dilutes it to where now you can have a video that gets 50,000 views and it feels like
Mhm,
it means nothing per se towards your life. Unless you're going to dedicate your life to every day getting, trying to work to get past that 50,000 views,
mhm,
right? So if you're a music artist now and you say, which the labels all signed off on, they did not have to sign their music away, right? If you think about it in that way, if you want to watch Game of Thrones, if you're not going to bootleg it, you have to get HBO Max some way.
mhm.
Period. If they would have stuck to that and stuck to their guns and say, "Oh no, if you want to listen to music, you got to come to us in a way so that we can compensate ourselves and yada yada yada."
So to be clear, you're saying instead of them getting down with Spotify, like they should have just started their own individual streaming services? Is that what
I'm
you're saying?
saying, I'm saying they should have figured out how they wanted to monetize their music moving forward. You know what
Okay,
I'm
rather
saying?
than going to get down with Spotify, because yes, I know the big majors are all large investors in Spotify and its success, so they bought into that. You're saying instead of doing that, they should have done. Okay, bet. Okay, got you.
Because I'm just saying that to say vinyl records are selling again, a
Yeah,
physical media. I would
billions and selling billions
I
worth.
would probably say CDs just went away
Hmm.
because they went out of cars. So
Yeah,
once
right, right,
Bluetooth
right,
came
right, right.
out, and so it created that need. Okay,
Hmm.
well, this is how people want to music, right? Why wouldn't they just keep music to where you had to just buy it
Yeah,
online on your phone? But then that
yeah.
comes into storage. And then as a label, yeah, maybe now we're in the storage game, actually. We're in the cloud business, right?
Hmm.
That right
Hmm.
there is just a different way for them to look at it. And this is going back to iTunes. If
Hmm.
you wanted to buy music, you bought your music digitally through iTunes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is when CDs fail, and this is the way
Hmm.
it was gonna go. Now maybe you
Right.
have your
Well,
different
people were still
stores,
buying actual music back then, though. Yeah.
but you just let the stores sell
Hmm.
it digitally,
Hmm.
right? That's all you had to do. But when they wanted to get greedy and think that they could do capitalism and you keep the chart going up and up and up. Because if Drake gets a million streams this year, but next year he's got to get two, then he's got to get
Right.
three.
Right.
Listeners aren't finding out about artists in that way. That's not an organic way of
They
how music
also
is
fucked up,
shared.
yeah, they fucked up the discovery funnel with all these playlists as well. So now it's super hard to really get down into it. The curation not there the way that traditional radio used to be, or even MTV and VH1's their music programming between the reality TV shows to like Direct Effect or Subterranean. It was so much music that I discovered through just watching those networks, bro, that you would never almost find unless you go through some other shit nowadays because the algorithm's so fucking wonky.
Well, it's because I don't even think it's the algorithm is wonky. I think it's because, like you said, if it's programming, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you have an hour's worth of programming, there's only so many videos that you could put in there. Now the labels are the only people getting their videos in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it forces the label then to make something so good to get into this block of an hour. If we
Mm-hmm.
don't no longer have blocks and it's somewhat kind of endless and anybody can get on the train kinda, why would you spend so much time to make this particular block of inequality? So what
Mm-hmm.
that ends up doing is with all these artists who are signed, what do they
Mm-hmm.
say? Well, you're an artist and you've been working with your hands to make this music. But then they say, well, we actually need you to get a following online so that we know we can get a certain amount of streams, and or you can't put out music until we can somewhat kind of guarantee and run you
Right.
through a system and then see if you catch on and get viral that way. But you better be working on the back end to get all these streams. Well, me and you know that if you're an independent artist, unless
Mm-hmm.
you're just gonna somehow have the features or you're from a mega city like New York, Atlanta, or something like that, chances are there's not enough posting that you can do to actually
Right.
organically
Right.
garner 50,000 plus listeners.
Right.
Those people are a minuscule amount of people. And that
Yeah.
might have been
So
the same when people getting signed to labels, but that's what I'm saying. The independent underground was always going to exist.
no, for sure. So I definitely agree with you on that, but I do still think that there is a aspect of the algorithm being at play, just because I've come across so many people that are literally like, we're music like enthusiasts, like
Mhm.
obsessives really about it, for real, for real. The average music consumer is not. So they listen very passively a lot of the time. Their sense of music discovery nowadays it comes through a TikTok, what YouTube tends to throw at you after you choose your couple of songs that maybe you want to like listen to or look at or whatnot. And the same thing also happens on Spotify. For artists, I think in conjunction with what you're saying about, building their profiles, their fan base, things like that, that business component for artists and artist development, I think is super whack and definitely wholeheartedly agree with you on that. But on the other side of the game, it's almost like that playlisting. Like, yes, people be like, oh shit, we got this playlist. And they used to mean something. But then outside of
Mhm.
the playlist realm, you still get the people that just like let Spotify just throw shit to them, like whatever just comes on like this shuffle loop, which I think used to be good for folks. Maybe 10 years ago, it was even getting me hip on stuff. But in recent couple of years now, I would say post pandemic up until now, if I'm hanging around people, friends, whatever the case may be, coworkers, whatever, whatever, and they're controlling the music. I'm like, oh, I like this song. What is this? Me thinking because it's their Spotify playing that is music that's in their library.
That they
It is
know.
not that they know. I've had countless times where it's like, oh, I don't know. It's just I think it's da 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 da. I just got Spotify on. I'm like, oh, people aren't really consuming music for real either. It's just kind of like this other thing that's just added noise in the background. Me, I listen to music all day, every day, but I be listening to music. Shit, it's sometimes I'm listening to music more than I'm
Well,
actually locked in on certain shit sometimes.
but something you just said though is okay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you transport 26 years ago. Just go back to 2000 and you say, I listen to music. How are you listening to it? If it's curated in that way, it's the radio.
Right.
And if it's not, you listen to albums. So that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. When the labels kind of pull back from albums, to your point too, they put out less new artists. So
Yeah.
that's why the playlist really got stale. It's because Atlantic is only gonna put out five rappers.
Right,
So
right,
they only
right.
gonna put out
Future,
5 rappers.
Lil
They ain't gonna put
Baby,
out.
Thug in the
It's
hip
the risk.
hop trap
And
mix.
so Apple Music is so afraid that you won't listen to the playlist unless these
Mhm.
are just the rappers that you just know. To your
Yeah,
point,
yeah,
instead of
yeah.
finding out the new hot thing,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Like you'll never, and it kind of goes into the conversation. I don't know if you've been seeing Dat Piff on on Twitter, kind of talking about the
No,
history of
damn.
mixtapes. Yeah, I don't know how
Okay,
I got this
I need to tap
algorithm.
into that. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna look at
I'm in
that.
like a deep rap algorithm on Twitter
Right, right,
now.
right, right,
And,
right. Okay.
but they just were talking about the history of their site, you know, and
Mm,
like you said, that was a place to where originality was number one.
right,
The
right,
mixtape covers are
right.
this and that. Well, now if I'm just worried about the sample, I'm this and that. Now you have underground artists trying to act like they're signed artists. And that is kind of the antithesis of the genres that they're trying to do a
Right,
lot of times.
right, right,
R&B,
right,
which is
right.
started in the church, so you on the corner, or hip hop, you in the basement, you in the attic, you on the
Mhm,
block,
mhm,
you in the
mhm.
closet. That is where it's the best. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of like the hoops. It's taking out the grassroots fundamental creative element out of it. And so now everybody got to have a highlight reel, when it was like you only had a highlight reel because some colleges wanted you. Now if everybody can
Mm,
have a highlight reel,
right, because you
what's the
got a
point of
damn
having a highlight
camera in your
reel?
hand.
And like I said, when you was in high school, only Derrick Rose had a highlight reel.
Right, 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 right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying? Like,
Nah, for sure. And it's damn near, I'm sure it's gonna be a point where motherfuckers gonna be feeling like you damn near get chosen for a certain team because you got more IG followers and you can damn near sell out more
exposure.
tickets to high school games.
Exposure. Nobody talking about winning.
Yeah,
You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know, bro. Like I'm wrapping up my last like post on my Substack for like my culture trend report or whatnot. And one of the things that I'm really talking about in the just overall trend report is just kind of like we've already hit just peak social media at this point. Like the numbers and the studies and surveys and all that are showing like young people are really into dumb phones. They grew up as these digital natives. So even how we think about the internet because it's so normal to them, they be like, bro, like I didn't had this shit all my life. This hella like I'm seeing motherfuckers that's really burnt out off the internet at like 16 or 18 or 21 years old because they just like doing everything for attention. That's a turn off. Older people, as we're aging and things like that. I'm trying to grow social media with programs that I'm working on, projects and things like that I'm working on. But it's also like that's just a lot of fucking work, bro. And I'll be so tapped out by the time I finish like working on my shit, working out, making some dinner.
I ain't got
At
time for that
at
shit,
least I
man.
want to do is like do all of that. I might post something or like catch up on and see what's going on, but like it just is so. I think we had peak social media, bro, and like the analog wave. I think is very timely. I think it's really something there. Like it's a very human thing. I've always been an advocate for like analog media and things like that. But seeing how many young people continue to get more and more into it, I was writing about some of that in my piece, and I'm just like, I'm talking about how simply like the liner notes or like the deleted scenes on a DVD because DVDs are back popping too. LA Times writing about that, and that's just selling out or whatever. Like the deleted scenes of the director's commentary, like the way that you would experience music and film or television even back in the day is significantly different. You don't get deleted scenes. You don't get director's commentary when you stream it on fucking HBO Max or Netflix and things like that. To get those liner notes. Now, I think I just wrote a note on myself, so I didn't put that in my write up or whatever. But even with that, because real musicians know about each other. Now that certain legends are kind of like passing, things like that, you get like that random person making that content about like the drummer and how the drummer
Right,
was in on like six iconic
right.
albums, things of that nature. And you don't really get that if you're not looking at the liner notes and truly like nerding out about it. They try to kind of get it with the credits on Spotify, sometimes a sample or whatever, but like people just don't engage with that sort of content digitally. I think the way that maybe we had, I would say, I hope motherfuckers hoped because at least we aimed for it. But if we just literally left the design of our digital lived experience is very, very, very important right now. And I think it's so much shit that like we need digital architects to come through and like refine how we go about our digital world.
Hmm. I I think that you make a really good point about the refinement of how the user experience overall. It seems that cable was correct,
Yeah,
right? And maybe it's just cable with on demand. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right. They can take
Right?
my money today if I can get back to
It's
the old
cable just on demand and just have it in the picture right there. You know what I'm saying?
days. Right.
So
Oh
that's
man.
that's one way that you could look at it. Like I said, the CDs and stuff. If you
Hmm.
are an artist, you're a fan of an artist. You don't need to know every artist. You don't need to know every song. You truly don't. You know what I'm saying? And so to your point, you get these as an artist now because they push streaming. Now you're making music so you can be streamed, not necessarily making music so that you can be, you know, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
good. You know what I mean? Like, and
they
so that's what
casting a
I'm
lot of
saying.
wide nets out there these
That's
days.
kind of going back to my point about like I've been reading articles around Gen Z
Hmm.
uh having trouble at work and like getting fired and this
Hmm.
kind of, and that's what I'm saying. They grew up in this weird gap of understanding
Hmm.
how stuff really works. They don't really know. And it's hard to explain that because we just have more time pre-phone, pre-social media. So our perception of like people is just a lot more black and white. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Though now there are all these things that we should consider that we as black people, because we're into civil rights, we have
Hmm.
always considered to
Hmm.
some degree. Even your most
Hmm.
conservative black person is a lot more aware of things in just a different type of way than your
Right, right.
average, at the time, white American. But now America is so much more tan,
Mhm.
it's grown in its perspective. And so just kind of saying all that to say that, like, hopefully with the adaptation of, I guess, analog and physical media. Oh, lost you right there. There you go. You back.
Yeah, I'm good. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was just like hopefully with the adaptation of physical media, you know, we will get a more selective process and a more risk averse Hollywood, I guess, or bigger system that is willing
Hmm.
to take risk in
Hmm.
order to, they have to refigure out how to make money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like but that's every industry and they just bail each other out so they don't have to. And it creates a terrible user experience to your point. But maybe now in 2027 and beyond, movies only need to be at the theater for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It don't need to have this thought of like,
I'll take
whoa,
it a month later because the way moments don't last so long. Like
it
I
don't
remember when
last the
Avatar
same.
and the OG Black Panther first dropped. That was probably like the last of it. Of like niggas going to see a movie for like 3 months. Like,
Bro, movies used to be in theaters for months, a whole season. This is a summer movie. It's just here the whole
yeah,
half the
exactly.
year. And then you gotta wait. No, it's that time is over. We have progressed past that, which I
Right,
don't
right,
think is a
right.
bad thing. You know what I'm saying? But there just are more movie options. Like it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No,
I know it creates a squeeze, but it should just create more of the incentive to create the spectacle, in my
right,
opinion.
right, 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 right. No, and I think there's still space for those moments. Like I think Sinners, the reason why so many people came out to it, not only yes because it was a good movie and like word of mouth spread, but like I paid like opening weekend. I think that Saturday morning of it to go see that at the IMAX. Like the way he said he really wanted intended it to be and the rollout of it. So when you get all of that in it, if you're really into film, you're going to go and see that movie the way that the director intended it to see. And it was a phenomenal experience. And having all the breakdown of it, so you understood what was happening, those moments like that helps. And I think there will still be big movies like that. But they can take some of them budgets and put that around to uplifting some indie directors and things like that. I'm gonna check it out. It was just a young brother that literally just came on my timeline. I haven't even like checked it out. It seems like it might be a comedy, but some kid up in New York, young black kid, got like a new YouTube series. I hope it's funny. I hope it's entertaining. I hope it's
Oh,
relatable.
I
It
think
looked like it
I
was
think I
shot
seen
well.
that. I
Yeah,
think I
and I
seen it.
literally just clicked on the link so it could go on my YouTube history so I can watch it later. But I'm gonna check it out. I guess the other thing, which it is kind of just what it is at this point, like the film and TV game, they're the same as like the music game and everything else. Because YouTube is a platform the same way, but that Pip would have been a way for you to use that to get your mixtapes out and get your reps up. But it would be great to still see, as you just mentioned, kind of like more investment going to, some of the little guys and really give more opportunities to like those emerging films. That's where the new IPs are. Everybody about to, these current ones we got to slut it out. They ran through at this point. We, we
I mean,
I'm here for some new franchise.
now though I did go see Scream 7.
I do want to see that. I do
Speaking
want to
of
see.
slutted out franchises, I did go see Scream 7 and it was good. and
I
I
was I saw
and I
Scary
can't
Movie coming back
I was
too.
about to say I can't wait to go
Yeah,
see
I'm gonna go
Scary
see
Movie
that.
6.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
definitely in there
man.
for Scary Movie 6. Uh I mean, okay, let me ask you this.
Hmm.
Um Music. I kind of want to get back into music and
Okay.
then I want to
Okay.
talk about 314 Day before we get
Okay.
out of here. We're definitely gonna have a whole nother episode. We should get on this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
this war and this AI that's going on out here.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah,
whole nother episode I kind of want to spend
yeah,
some time
yeah.
on.
That's a deep dive right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of good music has come out recently. I don't know since we've talked in February.
Hmm.
Since then, we listed out Don Toliver, Jill Scott, Baby
Yeah,
King,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
J. Cole.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
I
That
think
Rock
we had
Marciano is heavy in my rotation
Rock
too.
Marciano,
I like
Prince
his
Apollonia.
Nickelodeon being on as well. Good interviews.
That Prince and Apollonia was fire.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, him on Apple Music was really good. He was really
yeah,
good on
yeah, 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 yeah.
real
The
good.
Ebro joint.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I checked that one out and the Hot 97. He did the I May Leon Dore performance too. I watched that when I was
that was
cleaning up
fire.
one day. That was tight. I was like, all right.
That was
With
fire.
Stretch Armstrong in the background. I'm like, yeah, that's the culture that I'm trying to see as the former young nigga becoming a true unk out here. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, them the vibes. And even he was kind of talking about that. He's like, he got no problem with party music. I'm a DJ, bro. I definitely can go and play some party tracks, but like my energy is not just like party, 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 rowdy all the time.
mhm,
Now it's like he really make music for the moods where you a little more introspective. You think about life, trying to figure out your shit. You getting your bag together, or like real lifestyle rap. You in a certain mood and element. I'm like, that's exactly what it is. My nigga even said in the Hot 97 joint, he be watching nature documentaries. I'm like, you know what, Rock Marciano, you might have moved up on me. He already one of my tops, but
nah.
he's damn near like number 2 or 1 right now.
Rock
Dropping
is
that G.
Rock is really like that, man. He cold, man. Like you said, you listen to some Marciano, you just in a different vibe. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
it's like a frequency thing. Kind of it's like, can you listen to my comment? It's like,
Right, right,
can you
right,
listen
right, right,
to Madlib? Not
right,
Madlib,
right.
but you know what I'm talking about. MF Doom. Can you
Yeah,
listen
yeah,
to
yeah,
this?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it kind of
Dilla, Tribe, all of that.
Lupe was kind of like that. Like, can you tune your frequency to this kind of level? Can you get there?
Hmm. I will
Um,
say on the young people side, I'm seeing a lot of younger people that are getting into more of that broad spectrum of like our generation's underground like greats, your Mad Libs and MF Dooms and Dilla. Like the interest is rising. I'm not saying it's everywhere, but like
well,
Playboy Cardi's favorite rapper when he first started rapping was MF Doom. And I think there are kids that are into Cardi that are discovering
um,
that and then being like, hey, MF Doom is kind of tight as well.
Kendrick flipped the switch, bro. He flipped the switch. Like, oh, I don't know why connection keep dropping. There we go. I don't know if that's me or you. Wait. Well, seems like we lost our connection. Is he back? Nope. Well, dang. We lost Mars there for a second. But either way, do want to let y'all know me and Mars have been working out some interviews that we're gonna be doing, trying to get some more industry people on, get their perspective on some cool stuff. You know, um, yeah, this channel is called Building with Mars and Big Esco for a reason. So we tried to build our own platform so we could talk to one another, but we also built this platform so we can get some other people in. Boom, got them back right here.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect.
I don't know who that was, me, you, either way. My
I
bad.
don't
Shit.
know what's. I don't know if it's me, you.
That's it. Iran bombing our motherfucker.
God damn.
Our
You know what I'm
infrastructure.
saying?
Shit.
Hacking our infrastructure. But oh no, all I was saying was that Kendrick flipped the switch for a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. No, wholeheartedly agree
the
about that. Even like the
combination,
Dochi, the SZA Luther, like I think like that TDE like cohort really has impacted and shifted where the game is going right now. The Russell, bro, opened up at the Super Bowl.
you know what I
Like, what we
mean?
talking about? I think it's a lot of space out there.
Yeah. And so even Hove, doing the 30th anniversary of
Yeah,
Dead
yeah,
Presidents,
yeah.
nothing to take lightly for
Right,
sure.
right.
If he does do the concerts, that'd be dope. I'm always back and forth every year. It's like, do we need another Hove album?
I need them
Um,
motherfuckers. I need one where he's 70, bro, on some Godfather shit on this last
I
leg.
think
He's such a
there.
great writer. I just want the perspective.
Me too. I feel like
Yeah,
we still need
yeah,
it. He
yeah.
there are two Hoves now. There have always been two, but he's finally able to express the two. Like he could get on his lyrical miracle,
Mm-hmm.
and he can obviously still make the hits if he wanted to. Like Jay Z could go get a hit song
Yeah,
somewhere if he
yeah.
just
That's
wants to.
not a problem. Yeah.
I think that that's the reason why he feels like. I mean, obviously he has nothing left to rap about, but he does. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And
It's
so
the
I
it's the Andre
appreciate that.
3000 situation, I feel like.
I think 100,000 is a little different.
He might be shy, but I'm just saying that mindset of being like, I'm old. I ain't really got much. I didn't heard Hope say that a couple of times before. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, what more
he
can
don't
I
have
do?
nothing
But
else to
like,
say. Yeah.
bro, like as an artist, life itself is what informs you at the end of the day. Even if you pull it from other shit, it still is coming. Your lived experience is ultimately what's going to be conveyed through whatever your art is for real, for real.
But I guess
Even
it's
if you're on some parody or like supernatural, like alter ego type shit, you is still coming through, whether you or you not you. And I think they in a place where I don't necessarily know. We ain't got to do like the black capitalist, like fix your credit raps necessarily, but he can definitely motivate niggas. He can honestly like talk about growing older.
well,
I
that's
think
what
we
I'm
still
saying.
don't have like the older rap, like they are old and talking about life, but I don't even hear like the introspection all the time about that. Where's the vulnerability in that? It's a lot.
I think okay, you make a really good point because I think when you're an artist that was like used to being played and you're being
Mm-hmm.
a hot artist where
Mm-hmm.
like you have certain expectations that you put on your music to be played. Where like a Rock Marciano just doesn't have those expectations on himself as an artist to have
Mm-hmm.
music that is quote unquote playable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that's what I'm saying. Jay-Z even still 444 to some degree was still positioning it, like this is a hit album.
I
Even
mean,
though it was
he
different
had
for
a
him.
couple of singles. He had some singles. Like I don't think Rock be out there like making singles. I think that's really it. Because when I
Right.
sit and I listen to 440, but it's like it's Jay Z. Like Jay Z
It's
himself, and he comes from the tradition of like making singles.
so
There,
I'm
Rock will do
saying
them, but like he not a radio rapper. But Hope got a single in him,
he
bro.
has no more, as I'm saying, he's gotta be Beyonce'd out at this point. He has no more better songs unless they're just a genre. That's what I'm saying. They would just have to go down a rabbit hole of music, but they put their music out on such a high level. I feel like
Mm.
that's the struggle with them at this point. That it's just
That's fair.
like
I mean, I think that would be super cool the way he just kind of like letting it all just hang out with his hair. I think it would be super cool if he just like actually dropped a body of work and like maybe didn't even tour, just kind of like here on some like, yeah, I got
with
it,
who
and
though?
then
With
kind of
who
go
though?
chill. I don't know. I think if anything, where he is at in life, he's watching his children actually become like little adults, like young adults now. Like
Mhm.
his wife like got album of the year. Like
Country.
like they really both actually billionaires now. Like the lived experience, he can throw in some social commentary. He's older, so I imagine there are also other loved ones that he's lost. I'm sure like that there's just a lot that he can still really, I think, dig into just about like where he is in life and perspective, even like regrets too, where maybe he actually talks about some regrets and things like that. And it ain't even got to be no family shit. Like really reflecting on when you was young and the decisions that you made back then. And if you didn't make X, Y, and Z on the come up, like I think he just has so much. It's like the Book of Hove, bro. Like that's a blueprint to like
See,
really doing your shit. Niggas be like, if you really want to like come up in the world, you could just listen to Jay-Z discography, and I do believe that.
no, 100%.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
he
not
can
even a
add
question.
another
But
chapter
that's what I
to
was about to say. What you just described is almost every Jay Z album.
yeah,
I
yeah, no,
I think
for
that it's
sure.
I
It's
think
just more.
I think that it's an era. Like Jay Z only drops when his life enters new eras.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it was
Mm-hmm.
like 444. He was entering a new era as like a husband and like
Right,
his
right,
actual
right,
life.
right.
That's what he was writing about. Now he's still just like in that era,
Mm-hmm.
extended. I think that like not nothing even like in a bad way. I
Mm-hmm.
think that he's gonna have to hit like a new space. Like if Blue goes to college and now it's kind of like, damn, now I'm really like a little bit older. Here's
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah,
here's
yeah.
the kind of beats that I kind of am inspired by. I want to do that because I think another problem is like the rise of like Madlib and Alchemist and them working with
Mm-hmm.
other artists. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Jay don't want to be like accessible. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't be surprised if he got sessions with Alchemist and Madlib actually, because they be saying that
I would
nigga
be
hungry.
surprised. I
You
would be
say you
surprised.
would?
I
I
would.
wouldn't. He definitely he capable of and be into that music. Like Rock Marciano and Mark Holly both was like, yeah, that nigga Hove like hit me and told me a big fan. I'm not saying that he would do a whole project around that, but I would not be surprised if Jay-Z's hanging out and in the studio. He would have met these niggas at some point, one time or another. Jay-Z be around shit. I can absolutely see him just like working on his pen with some of those like drumless niggas. I
Man,
absolutely can.
Jay Z.
He not jiggy no more.
He only go to the studio when he got to because he got the rhymes in his head. So what I'm saying is, yeah, he got the rhymes for
He
sure,
be having hella rhymes though still.
but
Tata and fucking like Biggs and they be like
he's
that nigga Hove do be in the studio.
he's not asking for the beats and like let me get some. I don't think he's doing that because he
I, I,
knows what that
I don't
means.
know, man.
And he
I can
don't
at
want to
least
put
see
an
a
album.
Mad Lib. A good soul sample Mad Lib is the equivalent of like a Kanye or Just Blaze soul sample back in the day. I think he would at least get on something like that.
I just don't think there's anybody that a producer that could convince him to do. Like it would have to be somebody creating something. I've been listening to a lot of the interviews lately,
Mm-hmm.
like Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam. It would have to be
Okay.
somebody that is so good at music. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like this is your call. I'm calling because that's kind of like his last two, maybe even three albums have kind of been like that. Because once he got to that point where it's like I don't have to rap, and that's when you know what I'm saying. It's like it gets harder to rap. So then okay, because like him making the mega group for Magna Carta
Mm-hmm.
and doing that, like
Mm-hmm.
everyone I noticed that pattern in him because he's like he spends short window of time recording albums. He's not like an
Okay.
artist that like
Yeah, 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 for
6 months,
sure.
no, a month. We're
He
gonna
be
make
getting
this
in,
shit
yeah.
in
He
a
be
month.
getting
Like
in.
you know what I'm saying? And
He will do that.
so
But
the
he do still practice his pen, bro.
I'm
Like
saying they
Mad
all up
Lib
here.
got 100 songs with Kendrick and Kanye. I think he probably got 10 with Jay.
But that's Kendrick and Kanye. That's the whole myth around. That's what I'm saying. He
Bro,
Batman.
Hov be pulling up to the sessions
He
and
don't be
rap.
pulling up to this. That's what I'm telling you. He Batman. Batman is not. He don't come around to Justice League. He set it all up. Y'all wait for attack. But I'm only here on call, and that's what I'm saying. That's why them verses from DJ Khaled. That's why
Mm-hmm.
them verses on like pushes, like them random verses. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
them the only time, if it's not Beyonce session, them the only times he's in the studio. He's not in this. That's what I'm saying. He's not. He might pull, like you said, listen to Mount Hami. That's why them J Electronica verses are so because he was like, oh, well, these have to come out technically because I have to put these out. Jay, he's trying to put out an album. That whole rollout and knowing how many songs J Electronica is sitting on, It's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that was him sneaking it. That's what I'm saying. What could bring him out? Jay Electronica brought him out.
It would be
Once they
the it would
brought
be
him
the
out,
craziest shit. It ain't gonna happen. And I think the public, there would be a large chunk of the public that would dislike it. But I would actually see this some whole Afrofuturistic fan fiction shit right here. But
okay.
I would love to see Ho be proper revolutionary, like, like
The-
where
okay, hold on.
like
The
it's perfect
pathway.
time socio-politically to be on that. And it's like, or maybe even make a great case for being black capitalists. Like everybody, there's so many people that say he do be actually helping them and shit. Just some crazy shit. Like, oh, this nigga Hove actually ill for real, for
I'm gonna give you the pathway to that, and I think it's happening before our eyes.
real. Okay,
Kanye just announced the
I,
SoFi.
I saw that. I saw
Okay,
that. I
Kanye's
saw
coming back to America.
that. Nigga be
Okay,
Istanbul too.
4 or 5 years of saying Kanye, life's under control. I figured out my balance of life. I'm good. I'm cool. We can do the Super Bowl. Okay, 24, 2020. No, what year is this? Yeah, like 2030.
2030, 2030.
2031. Okay. And then the love and the camaraderie of that. Damn, this
That,
is it.
that,
Our
that
last
would be
one. That's
amazing,
what I'm
bro.
saying. That's it.
they,
That's what I'm saying.
they, were, they worried about this Iran war, talking about Armageddon. That's how I know the end of the world.
Think about that
But yeah,
spectacle.
I would love to see something like that.
That's a
That would
real
be,
go out
as a
of like
fan, like what? Yeah,
Kanye gonna have he's still gonna have the young, he gonna have the
yeah,
young hot beats.
yeah. That's
He
not
gonna
gonna.
he gonna put Jay know how to put himself in position to where it's like, okay, it's not too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, I feel like that's the only way you kind of get this. Cause I feel like Jay is like 50, where it's like part of him as a rapper, and I understand this as a rapper too. It's like you don't want to do too many things that other rappers do because then they feel like, oh well, we're kind of the same. That's why like
Right,
50
right,
Cent don't
right,
drop
right.
music anymore. Cause it's like, well, I had to like make myself different than y'all in some way. And I feel like getting a Kanye West album and bringing and putting Kanye West back on
Mm. That would be
is
crazy. That would be
that's the full
crazy.
circle moment. That's the he could and then he could disguise it not as a Jay-Z album. He could be like Watch the Throne 2.
Right,
He
right,
could be
right,
like,
right.
you know what I'm saying? To where he don't have
And
to
just
put the
really
pressure
step
on.
on that
I got a
motherfucker.
tour. Or he could like make it his own kind of thing.
I don't know, man. I mean, even with because he could just be doing it just because he like Jay Z with the Jay Z 30, but like that's a campaign. He's dropped multiple other like some the Dead Presidents was obviously the big deal, but it's
Yeah.
been a few more that's just like Jay Z 30, Jay Z 30. It's like y'all could kind of do it, but I also feel like it would be petty for him to do more than just the Dead Presidents joint and like run this little campaign without something else attached to it. Cause like also fuck you, bro. Like
Well,
don't piss me off. Don't get my hopes
I'm
up.
saying he could do a reasonable doubt, New York, you
If you do
know.
it to the B sides, I have to go broke on that one, but
I
I
might
need
have
to
to
go
figure
to
out how to
the
go broke on that
yeah.
too.
I get
I've
the
already
credit.
thought about that. I've
I
already thought
boost the
about that.
credit card limit, but I got my mind made up on that.
I've been thinking about that too. I'm like, what's the next concert that I gotta like cut my foot off for? And it's
Right,
like,
right, 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 right.
I think it's Hove. I think
Yeah,
it's
no,
Hove.
for sure. I've
Cause
never
it's like,
seen him, and I need to see him. I seen Ye.
you
I
never
seen.
seen Hove?
I've never seen Jay Z perform, bro, and I know he's a great performer. I've heard a lot of people say that.
It's crazy that he's actually as good as like advertised. I think that's the like, and it's not that crazy because it's like he married Beyonce. So
Hmm.
like that's kind of actually the thing that they got in common is that like you could be a super big fan away from them,
Hmm.
but then when you see it in person, you're like, oh shit, it's actually that
Yeah,
good. Like
this
that's
is the
crazy.
thing that everybody and their mama go
Like
crazy
you
about.
know, it's like it's almost like theatrical, like The Rock, where it's like random Tuesday night, we're in Toledo, Ohio, and The Rock is
Hmm.
here, and it's the best thing I've ever seen. It's like the first time you've
Right,
ever seen him. You know what I'm saying?
right, right,
You
right,
don't
right,
gotta
right.
really do that much. It's
Real
kind of
entertainment, real
real
entertainment.
entertainment.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so I get it. And two, Jay is real conscious of like kind of music Blue is listening to. I think he feels super judged by his kids. He's a real dad. Like he's in
Yeah,
that Eddie
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Murphy,
yeah, yeah.
I'm making
And they
Shrek.
can go and hear his old stuff too,
You know
which
what I'm
isn't
saying?
always the kindest of music about
Bro,
women. But he's like, yeah, I am a daddy. But even that's what I'm saying. Like that's the type of stuff I honestly think that Black men, like, it's no higher, more influential rapper than Hove, especially in the contemporary sense. And I think it's almost Obama esque. I feel like, and
It is
I just,
Obama-esque.
it's not necessarily on him to do it, but that's why I'm like revolutionary Hove, like Black consciousness Hove, like
I
Black
think it is
father,
on him to do it.
husband. Like I that's the only next real thing I can really see for him. And yeah, it is aspects of that stuff throughout it, but I think him embodying that in a particular way where it's like, oh, he really like personifying it as opposed because he'll step up and say even some political shit from time to time when he, you know, when they ask rappers to do that or whatever. He's not heavily political, but he'll still get up in there
It's in
and
his
like to
raps.
actually, yeah, exactly. But like to actually see him at that level and that caliber, I think would be monumental. Like that's some WB the boy type shit, but like for contemporary Black men, like
That's
a
real.
new thing to aspire to.
That's real.
Yeah.
Well, man, this was a good one back. We ended it
That's
on
a
Hove.
problem. That's a problem. Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
know, we definitely gonna be back. Like I was, you had dropped for a second, but got some interviews. Definitely that
Mm-hmm.
we gonna make happen. I got some people. You got some people.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely probably starting that off in April. I want to kind of get a
Mm-hmm.
couple more in March with you. Get our timeline back going.
Mm-hmm.
Drop
Yeah,
the
no,
sauce.
it's fun time though, man. It's fun time for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
man. Drop the sauce on them. So appreciate y'all if you got this far with us. And yeah,
Yeah,
man.
thank you. Yeah,
Keep rocking, man. We'll talk to y'all real soon.
in the free
Peace.
world, like narwhal.